All right, here we go. So yesterday, the fireworks in the market continued. All three indices are closed higher again, and the Dow closed at a record high again, and all three indices are on pace for a seventh consecutive week. But seems that today the rally is stalling a little bit. We had some comments this morning from a Fed member, so we'll take a look at this, and we'll also take a look at how this affects our position. So welcome to Coffee with Markus and Mark, and today is Friday, December 15th, and in this show, we are going to talk to you what's happening in the markets and how we are trading it. And gosh, Mark, I mean, fireworks, fireworks, fireworks. And for unknown reasons right now, my iPad decides not to show up here. All right, we'll fix this. But let's talk about what's happening.
Sure. Well, even though there's a blue screen, no iPad, the markets are moving. The S&P and markets in general, just a strong week, strong move after the Fed statement, of course. And the S&P and NASDAQ set for their seventh straight winning week. The S&P, this would be the longest win streak since 2017. The Dow set for its 9th consecutive winning streak.
Wow, yeah, it's kind of crazy, and it's all after the Fed meeting because I mean, Powell said what everybody wanted to hear, a little bit more dovish, and that the Fed will lowering interest rates.
And that's the thing. The focus seemed to be more on inflation and hey, things are looking good, things are looking strong, and this is where the discussion about cuts at some point in 2024 and what the Fed plans on doing was really the theme of the Fed. Today we had Fed member, maybe pouring a little cold water on that idea, trying to cool the markets down a little bit. There you go. Fed's John Williams says the central bank isn't really talking about rate cuts right now.
Yeah, and this was interesting. And I mean, this was an interview with CNBC. And during this interview, you could just say, where everybody said, wait a minute, I thought that you all are talking about rate cuts right now. So the interview was actually being broadcasted right at this time where the market's like, okay, what's happening? I mean, you stopped talking about hikes, so you should be talking about cuts. And he said, no, nobody's talking about this. Like, seems that we are rebounding from this, but I mean, this was definitely a cold shower.
And to be honest, of course he said that. Of course he said that, right? He said that it was premature to be even thinking about a reduction by March. Of course he said that, right? Because we keep seeing that based on Fed funds futures and what investors expect, that they wouldn't raise as fast or as high. Now investors are thinking that they will cut sooner. And I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer that he made those comments because look at this, right? A cut in March.
I mean, kind of crazy. Even some are figuring in a cut in January. I mean, come on. The probabilities for a cut in January should be zero. I mean, it's really zero, not 14.5% or 0.2% or something like this. But yeah, this is kind of where everybody is super enthusiastic about rate cuts right now. And so I agree with you. Absolutely understand that he says, guys, hold on. We said that 3 rate cuts next year. But what you're looking at here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rate cuts. So you're wrong. So forget the first 2 and maybe start counting here. Start counting in June. That's what I still believe is happening.
Actually, there's 6 rate cuts, Marcus, because there's the last one in December you didn't count.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Anyhow.
But yeah, so basically, but here's the disconnect, right? Because you have the dot plot basically showing that Fed members expect that rates will be at 4.6% by the end of 2024, and they expect 3 cuts. That's not cutting in March, and this is looking at the entire year, and traders are basically saying, nah, you're going to start cutting sooner. So I think it's great that we're getting this discussion. I love that the markets are rallying and optimistic, but it's no surprise that the Fed's now kind of saying, wait, slow down. This isn't what we said.
Because, I mean, seriously, the bulls are out of control. I mean, did you see that? There's actually a bull. in the
Oh wow.
New Jersey Transit. I mean, it says bulls are out of control. So yesterday, you might have seen it here. New Jersey Transit rail service is subject to a 45-minute delay between Newark Penn and PSNY due to police activity. And here's the police activity: bulls are on the loose.
That's proof. That is proof.
That is proof that the bulls are going absolutely crazy. Yeah, and I mean, you can't really slow them down, even though in the overnight session we saw that there was a little bit pressure to the downside. This were, I mean, in the same way as we are now saying, of course he had to say this, and bulls are right back, and the S&P has clawed up its way and is slightly positive for the day, but it seems that it is slowing down a little bit.
Sure. And I mean, I expect this a little bit of a diddle, maybe a positive, uh, end of the week, but I don't expect a whole lot here from the market going into the weekend just because we had such a big run up.
Right, and I believe the diddling today is especially also because today we have the rebalancing of the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100. And what this basically means is that, for example, Uber will be in the Nasdaq, I believe, right now. And I found this super interesting here. I would not have thought this. So we already know that.
Uber,
Sorry.
sorry, Uber is getting added to the S&P
Oh,
500, is my understanding.
okay, the S&P 500. Anyhow, so we already know that the five companies, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Nvidia, and Alphabet, that they make up about 25% of the S&P 500. But did you know that Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Nvidia, Alphabet, and Broadcom make up
Wow.
40% of the Nasdaq? I didn't know that Broadcom has so much weight in the Nasdaq. That was a bit surprising.
Yeah, but it would also be interesting to see what that weight is compared to those other three. But for the Nasdaq 100, it's DoorDash and MongoDB that is being added to the Nasdaq 100 with the rebalancing.
Yeah. So why is the rebalancing important? Because a ton of money is pegged to the indices. You know that there are ETFs that are mirroring the indices. And if they want to mirror the indices, as the indices are being rebalanced right now, these ETFs that have, I don't know, hundreds of millions under management, sometimes billions, they need to rebalance the ETF as well so that it corrects it by buying and selling shares according to the rebalancing. And this is what I believe we will see today.
Yeah.
And maybe over the next few days even. So anyhow, with that said, I mean, what's happening? Markets up, VIX down, the fear index. Rates, the 2-year yield is up today. The 10-year yield still moving lower, below 4% now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So a little reversal there. 5 years still below 10-year, but the 2 years still remains the strongest there.
Yeah.
And volatility still low as well.
Volatility, the VIX super low here, still at 4 years lows where we are trading. I mean, we haven't seen volatility around 12 in 4 years, and this was right before the pandemic in 2019, basically. So yeah, I mean, kind of crazy. Crude oil bouncing back yesterday. Crude oil was up 3% higher today, around the unchanged mark, after settling below 70 a few times this week. Now also coming back stronger.
Costco moving a little bit today.
Costco. Let's take a look at Costco. Why is Costco moving?
So
Oh,
they reported better than expected earnings, better earnings per share, better revenue, and they issued a dividend of $15 per share.
wow. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
$15 per share today?
that's what I saw.
Okay. Well,
I
surprising
guess
that it doesn't dip then by $15. But yeah,
well,
up
no. I
$21.
think they announced.
Announced it.
So it's
Got
not
it.
an X
Yeah.
date. Yeah.
Well, and again, Costco trading at new all-time highs here. It's crazy. But hey, our little friend Schwab is coming back. I mean, Schwab, we got to take a look at this. I mean, Schwab has been hammered.
Yeah.
When was it? Earlier this year. after just seeing that retail traders are not trading as much, but right now making a really nice bounce back.
Not too shabby. I mean, banks in general have been looking pretty good, and I know we'll talk about PNC, but loving this run up and move off of October lows.
For sure. Yeah, before we take a look at our positions, I mean, again, the 25 days of Christmas. Today, another fun one. Today is Dear Santa, all I want for Christmas is. So we have this going on in our group, everybody sharing what they want for Christmas. And if you had a chance to peek at it, it's a very, very wide range of what people are wishing for Christmas.
Yeah, it's really neat, from sentimental sweet things to funny things. It's good. There's so much fun.
It's really amazing. So if you haven't joined yet, please do. I posted a link below. It's rockwelltrading.com/holiday. Can be part of the fun. If you are already and you received this email this morning, go to the group and share what you want for Christmas, whatever it might be. It doesn't have to be anything profound. We're not looking for world peace. I mean, if you wish for world peace, of course, please do. But hey, as Mark said, it's a little bit funny, profound, materialistic sometimes. It's all over the place. It's all over the place. It's really, really
Yeah,
cool. And it's so inspiring to see what everybody is contributing here. Really love our 25 days of Christmas.
love it.
All right. So let's actually take a look at our positions and see what is happening there. And at first up, CSIQ, really good day yesterday. I mean, we talked yesterday about Sunrun. I mean, Sunrun had just a phenomenal day over the last 2 days. Yesterday, adding on another 16%. CSIQ not yet following, but I mean, definitely moving in the right direction, away from our rescue zone territory into, I don't know, hopefully at some point, call selling territory.
That would be the goal at this point. Happy either way. If we continue to run back to our entry, fantastic. If we pull back a little bit, I'm comfortable doing a rescue. So wherever it wants to move, I'm good with.
Yeah. NEE today, well, pulling back a little bit, but NEE also 2 fantastic days. So our cost basis here is at 69.50. So we still have a little bit to go before we can start selling calls here.
Yeah, and still, I'll take it, but keep on moving so we could work our way out of this one.
All right. So Oxy, super interesting. I mean, this is where I got assigned at $57. Sold at first the 58 calls, bought them back, then sold the 57. I mean, if we're pulling back a little bit more, I might be able to roll, but I'm not too eager because honestly, if I get called away today, I will try to sell the 57 puts again next week.
Yeah, I'm in a similar situation with Exxon Mobil, Marcus.
Yeah. So ExxonMobil symbol being XOM. So for you, it's actually looking a little bit better for a possible roll, right? Because you got assigned at 100,
Yes.
sold calls against it, and right now we are trading just slightly above. So is a roll possible for you?
In theory, this would look pretty or be decent since we're close to that strike that I've sold, but there just isn't a whole lot of premium, in at least for what we want for a roll. So I'm not near that 60% annualized that we'd like to get on a roll. So most likely going to let this one go to the end of the day, and if I have those shares called away, I might consider it on Monday. If instead I don't have those shares called away, we close below 100, I'll be selling calls on Monday, and either way, it's a win for me.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you're in a fantastic spot here. All right, PNC. Time for me also to say goodbye to PNC. We have been in this one since March. You already got out last week. You got called away at your cost
Yeah,
basis. I will get called away because I sold calls at 143, which is slightly above my cost basis. Geez, this looks not at all like 143. I got assigned at 140, 150, so I'll make some money on the stock, collected all the premium, and there's no way of rolling this. And I'm okay. I mean, this was a much longer ride than we anticipated. So we're making some good money on this one because my break even is at 135.88. So I'm making around $7.50 in total on this stock, and I have 1,200 shares. And I don't even know how much is 1,200 times 750. It's a good chunk, I believe. Let me see.
Yeah.
So somewhere around
80.
$9,000, and I'm okay with this and letting it go, and then moving on to some other opportunities.
I love the way you play this one, Marcus. Getting a little more on that one on the upside.
Yeah. All right, UPS. This is where I'm also getting a little bit on the upside. So I got a sign at 157.50, sold the 160, expiring next week. We will see. You got a sign at 165, and you were able to sell the 165 calls expiring next week, right?
Yeah. So yesterday I sold the 165 for $1.25, and that one's looking good.
Yeah. So UPS coming back, and I mean, this is where it seems that we will be out of Oxy, PNC, and probably UPS by the end of next week. So this year, we'll still probably be in CSIQ and NEE, taking this into the next year. But also between the holidays, I'm trading a little bit lightly. So I'll see if next week we can get called away there. If I can sell more calls, if I can sell more puts, I'll do it. But I'm fine with this. And then rebuilding this basically in January with hopefully, as it seems right now, 3 open positions.
Love it.
Yeah. So this is working out really, really, really well. Let's see what the S&P 500 is doing here right now. And again, not expecting too much today. And yes, you're right. We're just diddling along here for now.
Where do you think we end up, Marcus?
I think that today will be a little bit profit taking, slightly negative. I mean, we saw it already yesterday, right? Yesterday on the 5-minute chart, we opened higher, was there, and then there was some profit taking, filling the gap, pushing a little bit higher. So I do believe that today will be a slightly negative day. Will we go all the way down to 4,700? I don't know, but I think that 4,700 is pulling as a magnet. So we'll probably finishing just a little bit above 4,700. That's what I think.
Double or nothing on cookies?
Yeah, double or nothing on cookies. What do you think?
I say we are slightly positive for the day. I don't think we're going to just have this big rally, but I think we're just going to hold up here slightly positive.
All right. So, Mark, positive for the day. I say slightly negative. All right. Over and under. Easy enough. Are you enjoying this? If you do, we would really enjoy if you could give us a like. If you feel that others would benefit from the show, feel free to share it. There's a share button right underneath. You can share it on any platform you want, or by email, or by text, or whatever you want to do. And if this is your first time here, consider subscribing, because this way you can keep following us and you get a notification whenever we go live. And we'll be live again on Monday. Until then, have a great weekend.
Happy trading, everybody.